Worry lines can run deep. With increasing commodity prices, higher price volatility, and rising input costs, America's farmers rely on crop insurance to protect their crops and livestock. Crop insurance, providing peace of mind now and for the next generation of agriculture.
Congresswoman Cheri Bustos from Illinois' 17th District. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Could you just start off by telling us a bit about your background?
Sure. I'll start by talking a little bit about my family's ag background, I think maybe your viewers might have some interest in that. But I come from a long line of farmers, and my grandfather was a hog farmer. All of my aunts and uncles on my father's side have stayed in farming. So we're now, I think, 3-4 generations of farmers. And really the only reason I was not raised on a farm was my dad happened to have had hay fever. And so while his brother went on to be a hog farmer, his sister an Angus farmer, his other sister and their family dairy farmers, we ended up moving to Springfield, Illinois. And because my dad had hay fever and couldn't work around the farm. And so I was more they used to call us the city slickers in our family. But certainly have a deep ag background, proud of that, and proud as a result to now be in Congress and serving on the Ag Committee.
Do your relatives still farm?
Yes, our ag roots continue to go into future generations. We have my cousin and his mom and dad. They have a pretty large dairy farm in Illinois. And the hog farmers are in the eastern part of Illinois along the Indiana border, and then our Angus farmers are more in central Illinois. So yeah, we're spread all around Illinois, but yep, all of my dad's side of the family, they still continue to farm to this day.
Great. So I know that the 17th District of Illinois has a large agriculture industry. Could you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, it's ag is very, very important to the 17th Congressional District. And I'll first talk about where the 17th Congressional District is. It starts in central Illinois in Peoria, and then it goes westward to the Mississippi River. So the entire western border of the 17th Congressional District is the Mississippi River. About a third of the Mississippi that goes through the state of Illinois is in the Congressional District that I represent. Then it goes up to the tri-state area of Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Follows the Wisconsin border over to Winnebago County, which is where Rockford is. So why is that important to ag? Well, first of all, we have the world headquarters for John Deere. We have the world headquarters for Caterpillar. And then in between all of that, we have literally millions of acres of farmland and thousands of farmers. So again, when I was putting in my requests for committee assignments in Congress, ag was right up there because I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can to represent the people of our district, and those are the family farmers in the ag industry.
Great. So as a member of the House Ag Committee, you will hopefully be part of writing a new 5-year farm bill. Could you talk a bit about your priorities for that bill and your constituents' priorities?
Yeah, I think whether it be for farmers or whether it be for small business owners or for that matter even families throughout not just the district that I represent but also the state of Illinois and the country for that matter, I think everybody's owed some certainty. And I think when you have something like the Farm Bill that was only a 2-year farm bill, that doesn't give farmers any way of knowing how to plan for their future. And I think family farmers are owed that. We owe them some certainty. I have gone throughout the 17th Congressional District along with farmers coming out here to DC to visit with me. And what they're asking for is some certainty. I hope that I will be in a position to help pass a 5-year farm bill that then goes on to the full Congress and is passed into law. And again, we give family farmers some predictability.
Great. And are there any specific issues they're looking for, or just getting the Farm Bill passed as quickly as possible?
I probably hear the one issue that seems to be that come up repeatedly is about crop insurance. And again, we're coming off of one of the worst droughts in a generation. Actually, it is the worst drought in a generation. And farmers, because of their livelihood, cannot count on the weather. You can't count on it, I can't count on it, but farmers, if the weather is not cooperative, it impacts what they're able to produce. And what crop insurance does is at least lets them account for that from a business perspective. And so I would say if there's a common theme that I hear, it is, first of all, give them predictability, and second of all, let's take a look at crop insurance and how that can help our family farmer.
Great. And last but not least, I know you already introduced a piece of legislation this year. Is there anything, is being in Congress, has it met your expectations in the way you've hoped?
Yeah, well, let's first talk about the piece of legislation that I've introduced, because I think whether you're a farmer, you're just a mom or a dad, or whether you're a business owner, I hope that the piece of legislation that we introduced would be of interest. And here's what it is. It takes a nonpartisan government accountability report that has been issued back in 2011, and then a second report that was issued in 2012. And what this report did is identified waste in government spending and redundancy in government programming. And while this report has been produced by a nonpartisan group, it has sat there, in a sense, on the shelf collecting dust without being enacted. And at a time when we are facing budget issues that are very severe, and some severe mechanisms have been put in place as a result of that, I think what our legislation does makes the most sense. So it takes that government accountability report, looks at the $200 to $300 billion in wasteful and redundant spending, and then puts teeth behind that. It allows for a bipartisan group from the House, from the Senate, and the administration to enact those cuts and eliminate redundant services. And I think that is the best approach, at least to start looking at our budget problems. That's nothing to sneeze at when you're talking about as much as $300 billion in cuts. And at the same time, these cuts don't impact seniors and they don't impact veterans. And I think that's important to note as well. But we have received bipartisan support on that. And so I'm encouraged that it's a reasonable, common sense piece of legislation that has received bipartisan support. And so the second part of your question about, is this meeting my expectations? I would say, first of all, it's an honor that the people of our district have sent me here to Congress. And I think that's something I would never, ever want to lose sight of. That my bosses are the people back in the congressional district that I represent. And there happens to be about 700,000 bosses that I have. So it's my job to make sure that I'm here to represent the people of central and northwestern Illinois to the best of my ability. And how I do that is I talk to as many people as I possibly can when I'm home. When I'm out here, I make a point of calling people who have either written to us in a letter or emailed us or called us, and follow up with their questions that they have of me or about policy. And I think that's the best way to make sure that, first of all, I know who I'm serving and I know what their concerns are, and that I do the best that I possibly can to represent them. And so, I just think in a sentence, it's just an honor to be here and represent the people of our region.
Congressman Cheri Bustos from Illinois' 17th District, thanks so much for being here with Agri-Pulse today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.